Hi there. Let's continue on in this process of the 24 by 30 acrylic portrait with 30 people in it. I'm continuing on using the acrylic glazing technique to transition from a sketch into a detailed realistic painting. And right now I'm going to be adding some more glazes to the people, darkening the values of their clothing, and we'll also probably work on their hair and some of the shadows between their hair and their neck and shadows under their face, anything that's dark. We want to treat everything as basically a structure of value, and we're not just saying, well, we're painting hair right now or clothing or trying to get colors just right. You know, we are using color at this stage, but we're also really building the structure, the form of the people, the contrast between all the different elements, the subjects and background using these glazes. So before I start, let me dive in with a word of prayer. Father, I ask a blessing on this session here. I pray that you'd help me to be able to paint this portrait well. I know that in the past I've tried to do things in my own strength. It hasn't worked so well. But Lord, I know that you can help me to paint this accurately, be able to get the values, the textures, and forms correct. Excuse me. And Lord, I pray that you would help me to be able to teach the students well today. Bless this class here, what I'm teaching, and I pray you bless all the students watching, help them to grow in their skills in portrait painting as a result of watching this video. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so like I said, I want to darken some of the clothing. So I've been basically keeping everything even. You can see it's very ghost-like, very light and faded looking, and that's the way we do it with the glazing technique. This is not the classical technique where you do a grisaille black and white underpainting, but it's a modified version of the classical technique as I learned over 20 some years ago from Norbert Cox, who taught me this beautiful technique, and that's why I'm still painting with acrylic today. Anyway, let's dive in. That's what you came here for, is to watch me paint, not just listen to me talk. So let's begin with one of my favorite colors, raw umber dark, and then we'll take some ultramarine blue. When you mix those together, you get a really nice Payne's gray kind of color, and you can adjust it to whatever warmth or coolness you want. You want more coolness? Use more ultramarine blue. Want more warmth? Use raw umber dark. And so basically with these two colors, I'm going to build a black that's richer than ivory black or Mars black, and it's more customizable. But I'm going to basically start on the left-hand side, work my way over to the right. So we start by painting on this boy's shirt. Before we can dial in the skin tones, we have to build up a sense of contrast. Many artists make this mistake by diving in for the skin tones right away, trying to get those colors blocked in right away, mixing that perfect skin tone recipe, which really doesn't exist, by the way. And they go for that and they ignore the contrast, the structure of their image. And what happens is the skin tones just get way too dark. They get muddy because there's nothing to contrast, nothing to measure it by. You need some dark values in your image to be able to measure your skin tones by. So I don't do a whole lot with the skin tones at the beginning of my portrait. I wait till I have some glazes on first, establishing other areas of dark value contrast, and then I start to glaze in the skin tones. Now I do have a little bit of the skin tones dialed in, but they're very light in comparison to these other areas. And that's why I'm going to keep on building up these areas representing the clothing in this image. And again, just so you can see it, this is what it looks like here on my Kindle. All right, so it's just a large family portrait, 30 people in it. That's crazy. But here you can see the clothing that I'm working on. So right here, this boy, his dark clothing, and then, you know, you can see it all interspersed here. That's what we're working on. So we're going to continue. While I have a wet edge, I want to continue this across. That's the best way to do it. All right, so we just kind of smooth this in around this kind of Darth Vader figure. I do need to get some glazes in on that area as well. Yeah, he's wearing a Darth Vader Star Wars shirt. So that's cool to get that in there. And we'll just kind of block in that text really lightly too. Leave a little bit of room open for the green on there. Yeah, we got to leave a little room open for that. I'm just going to wipe that away. All right, let me continue this on. Since his shirt is quite dark, even if it gets a little bit blotchy, which can happen when you're applying glazes, you have many opportunities to smooth it out, which is nice. Let's zoom in here a little bit so you can really see how the brushwork takes place. All right, so here we are zoomed in, and I'm going across his legs, and then I'm brushing down. So across and down. Alternating the brush strokes really helps to get things smooth. Always keep a wet edge. So you might wonder, well, what's a glaze? Well, a glaze is some pure acrylic pigment, just paint out of the tube mixed with matte medium. All right, you can buy this at your local art store. This is Liquitex matte medium. I buy mine from Nova Color, and I just refill it in these smaller containers. I buy mine by the gallon. And if you're looking for really high quality paint, I would suggest trying out Nova Color. It's fantastic. Been using it for over 20 years. And in the description of this video, there is a link. You can purchase it through my affiliate link, and it helps support the school. So you get a really good price. It's the same as what you'd pay if you go directly to their site. You get a really good price on the paint, and it also supports the school. A little bit goes to supporting me in what I do here in this YouTube channel and at Realistic Acrylic Portrait School. So when you buy paint from Nova Color, it's typically about a third to a half of the cost of what you pay at the local art store, but the quality is just as good. And in fact, it's probably the best kind of paint you can get for this technique, because it's a little more fluid than your typical Liquitex paint that you buy at the art store that's very thick and hard to mix with matte medium. This is much more fluid, but it still has a high concentration of pigment, and so you'll find that it'll really do a great job for you with this technique. But I've been using their paint for over 20 years, and they just started an affiliate program, like as I record this video, just started it like a few days ago. But I've been recommending their paint for years, even though they didn't have an affiliate program, just because it's so good. So a lot of my students use it. Check it out. The link is in the description. And enough there. I don't want to turn this into a commercial for Nova Color, even though I like their paint. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just adding some glazes here to the back, and I want to establish the form of this guy who's standing there. And imagine he's probably wearing some dark pants or something, so I'm just darkening that area too. Oh, and I don't want to miss the mother here. So yeah, we got this woman in the back. Let's make sure we get her pants darkened in there, because she's wearing black pants in the reference photo, and we should probably get that established. See how easy that works? You just glaze it in. And yeah, it does take a little longer, but this allows you to get some really nice blending. And again, it preserves all the detail of your sketch, so you don't lose the likeness. So you don't lose the likeness of the faces. And that is something that a lot of artists struggle with, losing the likeness from their sketch. And with this technique, it'll really keep you from losing the likeness of your sketch. And you can make the people look just like they do in the reference photo, as long as you have a good sketch as a foundation. Well, I'm going to darken this woman's pants right here, and I try to vary up these brush strokes. So we had some that were going vertically, so then we'll want to have some going horizontally on the next time around. And again, we're just building up all these layers little by little. Cut in around the baby's feet. And another nice benefit of the glazing technique is it gives the painting more luminosity and depth, because the light is literally shining through all these layers of paint, and that makes a difference. So again, we're just filling this in. Okay, now we're going to work on this young man here, darken his pants in. There we go. Just fill this in. Yeah, I guess he's got kind of a bluish look there. I need to leave this open. I'm going to wipe this away on the left-hand side so I can really get that kind of bluish look to his shorts. So I'm just going to add this glaze to the rest. And then when I go over this again, I can hit it with a blue glaze, and this will get a little darker, but this will have a more intense blue because I've left it open. I wiped it away, and it's a little lighter. Therefore, you're going to see more of the actual color shining through that area. Now let's add just a bit of Alizarin Crimson to this glaze. Okay, so we go up here, touch that edge of the brush just to get a little piece of Alizarin Crimson. Then I wipe it off here, twirl my brush a little bit to get some of that off the bristles. Then I bring it into this mix, what residue is left on my bristles, and then that just affects the color a little bit and gets it a little bit more reddish, because you can shift between the blue, kind of green, and red. The blue being ultramarine blue, very dark pigment, raw umber dark being kind of a greenish yellow pigment. I know it's brown, but it literally has a kind of yellow green tint to it. And then Alizarin Crimson, a very dark pigment, to shift it to the red. Those three colors, blue, green, and red, and that is what enables you then to get this nice rich black, and you can shift it any way you want. Any way you want. So I'm adding, like I said, a little bit of that Alizarin Crimson to the mix, and then when I go ahead and I apply this here, it's going to have just a little bit of a warmer tone. But if I say, you know what, after applying it, it's too warm, well, the next glaze I'll just put more blue. I'll just put more blue in the mix, and we'll be able to fix it with that. I'm going to leave off on the top because his arms are just a little bit lighter in value. And when you look at the reference photo, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So, you know, again, arm just a little lighter in value. So I'm leaving off there. I'm not actually putting a glaze on that top part. And that helps to create this sense of depth. Okay. So now we can continue on, but I think at this stage here I'm going to stop off on this video. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the process. So when you watch my videos here on the YouTube channel, you won't see a lot of change if you're only watching one video, unless it's a time lapse. But if you stick with me here and you watch all the videos together, you'll get a good sense for what the glazing technique is about and what it can do for your acrylic portraits. Hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Check out more of my tips, tutorials, free classes, and downloadable printable guides at realisticacrylic.com. So check that out. I have a link in the description or in the comments section of this video. Check out realisticacrylic.com, and you can go there and get more help on painting a portrait you can be proud of. All right, so thank you so much for watching today. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.